My channel. If you're new here, my name is Abby and today I'm going to be reviewing the Lechuza self-watering pot. So this is actually a product that I was kindly given by GrowTropicals when I went to visit them. I've heard lots about self-watering pots, and I've seen a lot of people do a DIY self-watering pot as well, because essentially you think there's a lot more to it, but it's just like a piece of string or a cord that absorbs the water in the reservoir and takes it to the plant. So I have always, I've always been really interested in them, but I know that it comes with, if you enjoy them and like the way that they work, they obviously take out any stress about overwatering, underwatering. If you go away for like long weekends or weeks away, it does take that stress off your plants being watered. There's the risk of wanting to buy all of the self-watering pots. So I wasn't sure about if I should buy myself one and put myself through loving it and then wishing everything else was in this. But I'm going to go through the basics today. I'm going to show you what the product I've got is and just kind of review how I'm enjoying it. So the pot that I was given, and I feel like I've tested this to the max. I've tested this with a plant that I was having honestly so much problems with, like from the get-go. So I bought this plant. It's a variegated Maranta. I bought it in the sale, and I think it's because it was declining a little bit and it just kept declining for me. And I've had it for approximately 18 months now. I remember getting it I remember getting it a while ago, but as we all know, I'm not good with time scales. So I've tested it with this plant, and as soon as I used it, I was skeptical. I am a skeptical person, but I'll just start by showing you the product and then we'll go into everything else after. So this is the Lechuza self-watering pot. I've obviously got it in grey, and at the bottom you see their branding just there. And then round here you have the little gauge just here. This will literally tell you if it's minimum water or maximum water. And obviously the flatter the surface you have this on, the more stable that is. I'm currently holding it so it's a bit all over the place, but as long as it's between those lines, there's sufficient water in there. With that, I've got plants all over my desk, excuse me. With that, the substrate that goes in it, I believe can be anything you want. But with this self-watering pot, this Lechuza one, I was given the pon as well, which is essentially rock. It's just like lots of little gravel pieces. So that's what my plant is in. It's in the Lechuza pon in the Lechuza self-watering pot. So I will take this out and I will show you. It comes in two parts. So we've got this part which the plant is potted in, and then we have the actual pot which holds the water. So at the bottom of this, there's some water, and it's called the reservoir. So that's where the water is. Here we have these two strings. So you can see they're more ropey than string-like. So we've got these two ropes, and they should be even. Mine are a bit uneven at the moment, but it's not a problem. But they should be even, and they are absorbing the water and sucking it up to the plant. So ultimately, I tried using a plant I was having problems with to see if this amazing self-watering pot would do anything for it, because I hear really good things. But I also know Maranta are thirsty, and I chose a plant that I know would appreciate having a wetter, more almost like a wetter substrate essentially. And since I will try and find a before picture and an after picture, I cut this back so much. It was dying. Like, this is an old leaf, this crispy leaf here. Everything was yellowing, everything was dying before I put it in this. I was really, really unhappy with it. I was just over this plant, and honestly now this is one of my favorites. this plant, and I'll probably put some B-roll over this because I don't want to pour out the pond everywhere, but this plant has non-stop growth. Like, it's constantly growing. The leaves are absolutely huge in it as well. So I will show you. So this is what the leaves used to come through like. Bless you. So little ones here, and then that was probably the biggest. This is an old leaf, as you can tell, but the leaves now are like gigantic. Look at that. It is insane. And the variegation on them as well is like really coming through. Like, there's a new leaf here, which is like, looks like it's just bright white. They're just so big, and you can tell that these are new because obviously they've got the redder in the middle, and they start like dying down to like a darker green color. But honestly, look how beautiful this plant is. And I really, really strongly believe, due to how long I have had this for, how long I've struggled with this for, I strongly believe it's all down to this self-watering pot. And me being the skeptical person, like I said I was, I'm fully on board the train. Like, I absolutely love this product. And I'm very thankful for GrowTropicals for letting me have a go with one. I'm converted, like fully converted. And then separate to that, Pon. I wasn't sure about Pon. An ex-colleague that I used to work with, she gave me a bag of Pon because she knew I was really interested in plants, and like, I love plants, and she knew I hadn't tried that substrate. So she gave me a bag of Pon, and to be honest, it had, with moving and it being like just so busy, I wanted to experiment with it when I had the time to really watch it and see a transition, see if it was declining, you know, like jump in and fix my plant if it didn't enjoy the substrate. As soon as I started using Pon, and literally as soon as I started repotting something with Pon, putting it in like the pot, and I've got a little pot just behind me, just here. This is in Pon as well. I loved it straight away. I've noticed that one that's not in a self-watering pot is very thirsty all the time. And I know that obviously there's no nutrients in the pond, so you do need to obviously fertilise and make sure your plant is getting fed. But just the ability to have a plant that holds its weight, like itself up, because the pond is a lot more dense than soil, but obviously in a good way. The plants that would normally flop over in the pond, they are just upright and they just sit nicer. So pond and self-watering pots, for me, together, separately, I love them. I don't really have much else to say. I think I water this or fill the reservoir. I've done it twice, and I've had this in here for about 6 to 8 weeks. So it doesn't kind of like use all the water in the reservoir too quickly. But you do have to obviously keep an eye out. And then when it does go to minimum, meaning like, please fill my reservoir up, I need water, I have noticed that I've left it like that for a little while and it's still been okay. Just because I haven't managed to, it sounds lazy, but I haven't managed to get the water filled up again. But that's all I have to say about this. I'm just so impressed with it. I'm really happy. And as you can imagine, this plant is now one of my favorites because I always loved it, and I was just saddened that mine wasn't very happy. And then I said categorically, no more Caletheia, no more Maranta. They don't do well for me. I'm not able to look after them. I will stop buying them and killing them. But I think I've turned this guy around. I'm really pleased with it. And for reference, this is my hand. This is the leaf. Like, it's huge. My hands aren't huge, but the leaf is huge. And even like the kind of like leaves it's throwing out, like half kind of variegated, half like green, just so pretty. But I can't wait to see this one. I think that's heavily variegated. I get the impression that this side of the plant is more variegated than the other. But I do turn it around to make sure it gets like good light from each angle, because at the moment this is sat on top of the electric heater that we have, which I know is a no, but it's sat on top and the heat is distributed right out the bottom, so it doesn't get the heat goes that way into the room and it's kind of sat on the top of it, so it doesn't get like a draft or like overheated or anything. It's just a very nice ambient temperature in here. I think it's usually between 17 and 20 degrees, and we're currently experiencing Storm Eunice, so filming like early February. So yes, if you are skeptical just like I was, I highly recommend you go try one out. And I certainly will be buying more of these. With that said, GrowTropicals do stock them. I obviously went in to tour their greenhouse, and I obviously go on their website a lot because they've got stunning plants, but they do have the kind of whole collection of like the whole Lechuza collection, which is a German brand, I believe. But I know you can get other self-watering pots. You can get, like I said, you can get DIY ones. I know Wild Fern has done a DIY experiment. And from my understanding, I haven't kept up with it in most recent weeks, but she really likes it. And then you can get all sorts of self-watering pots from like local hardware stores. I don't know if I said that. Local DIY stores. And yeah, they're becoming quite popular and common, so they're not really hard to come by. I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe, and I will see you in my next one. Bye.